ready to go here. It's coming up on 2:30. And the panels are in place. And I guess we have one candidate that's shown up. I guess Craig Jordahl is not in the house. Okay. Well, let's get it all started. Again, thank you to our sponsors at Rhythm Kitchen and everyone else. And in any event, this is a change in the format since we've had like 10 people at a time, or 12 people. We now have one candidate. So panelists, just keep that in mind that this gentleman showed up. And unlike the incumbent, you know my rant on this. But anyway, I will just start the festivities and Swadeep.
Swadeep.
Please, you can do your opening statement. I guess you can take 2 minutes in this case. Thank you.
Okay. Well, first of all, is it what? Oh, okay. I'm Swadeep Nigam, and I've been in Las Vegas for 30 years, and my background is that I'm a staunch conservative, and been involved with the Republican Party for many years actively, and my professional background is I have an MBA in finance and Masters in Applied Economics. I work for the public sector, and I have a unique background in a sense that I have 35 years of exceptional background in accounting, finance, and economics, in public sector, private sector, as well as non-profit. So I know how to handle the money, and especially when it comes to $7 billion of your taxpayers funded budget here at the state of Nevada. It used to be 5.5 billion, but now it will be 1.5 billion, thanks to all the incumbents who are running again, who voted for the tax increase. My professional background, as I said, it's in finance, business, and economics, and I feel that I'm uniquely qualified to serve the citizens of this state. Being a good conservative, I know what it takes to run a business, and I'm also a CFO for my family, Palatine Investments. So we have investments, but it's a private company with only family members who are involved. I've been with the Republican Party for last 20 plus years actively. As I said before, I was the longest serving treasurer for the Clark County Republican Party. I was the assistant treasurer for the state party. Currently, I'm also a commissioner on Nevada Equal Rights Commission. And I've helped many candidates from local races to national races. I've done fundraisers, I've done meet and greet, and written letters in support of good candidates. What happened last legislative session, everyone knows what happened there. You know, it was the issue with not only with the taxes, but more than that, most of our elected officials whom did we send over there in Carson City, they betrayed us basically. So I thought it's time for them, they should have consequences. So here I am. Thank you again for inviting me over.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have a mild change in format since the next forum, Tim Pitara is going to take the lead with California Senate stuff. But so I'm going to start back down here with Melanie. We'll get through as many questions as we can, and we'll give you time for a closing statement.
Sure, thank you.
Mr. Nigam, what do you view the biggest challenges for the state, and how do you feel that you can serve your district most effectively given any diverse interests or needs of your particular district?
I think biggest challenge is not only in my state assembly area, but it's overall for the state of Nevada is the good economic diversification and economic challenges which we are facing. We need more jobs and better paying jobs rather than the minimum level job. Our unemployment rate is still way high, and last month it went up, as well as if you include all the employees, all the citizens in this state of Nevada who are discouraged, so-called discouraged workers, we are 35% more than the national average. Currently it's running at 14%, which is too high. It's unacceptable. So I feel that bringing good jobs to the state is the biggest challenge which we face.
Len Connell, you got us all to yourself, okay?
Thank you.
Swadeep, let's talk about economic development. You know, somebody said to you, Nevada's nothing but a mobbed up banana republic and it's never going to change. Nevada's never going to diversify. What would your plan be to grow the Nevada economy other than electric cars and hoping the casinos do well?
I was on one of those panels, where governor invited me, just to talk about, because he was on his way to Korea, or he was also in Canada. But my feeling is this state is very well suited for high-end service industry, not for manufacturing. Whether it's a car or anything, we don't have infrastructure, we don't have water, we don't have roads, we don't have other ancillary industries. Even Faraday, I doubt if they can make it, because to assemble a car, you need other 200 other related industries to supply raw material or say tires or the paint. We don't have any industry. But I feel IT industry will be the best suited industry for this state, especially for Las Vegas.
Swadeep, good afternoon and thank you for attending. The question I have is, there's been, in past panels dealing with assembly candidates, we've had some say that we should increase the minimum wage to $15. They were actually in favor of that, saying that minimum wage doesn't keep up with cost of living increases and other things. As far as increasing the minimum wage, I think the problem with minimum wage is not that it needs to be increased. It's that in the state of Nevada, our education is lacking as far as higher education. So a well-skilled workforce would be able to demand for higher wages rather than having to just take whatever the corporations are willing to give them, because they really can't ask for higher wages because they don't have the education to try to get higher paying jobs. So as an assemblyman, what are your plans, or what would you like to do to increase the level of education in this state so that we could actually get a more educated workforce to demand higher wages rather than the state having to mandate them?
Great question. First thing about minimum wage. The state should not be in a business to tell businesses what to do when it comes to wages. There should not be any minimum wage. Let there be a contract between the employer and employee. That's how I feel. If employer wants to give you $20 an hour, that's a minimum wage for you. But if for someone with no skills and employer doesn't want to pay you even $3 an hour, no one should be forced to honor that minimum wage standards. Regarding education, my whole family is in education business. My dad was a professor, visiting professor and Fulbright scholar at UNLV. I have supported education. My kids went to school here locally. I've funded a scholarship through Nevada Policy Research Institute I've donated copious amount. Every year, one student from local high school gets $2,500 just to encourage the students to go to college. But there are some students who don't want to go for a higher education. We should stop spending money on those students, forcing them to go to UNLV or UNR. There should be technical institutes to train them with a job related. Not everyone should have PhDs or they're not capable. So we should direct their talent to more practical training type of work rather than keep on investing in a higher education. And let the student decide where they want to go. If they're good, they will go to Harvard. There are students from local school districts who have gone to some of the top schools. So I strongly believe that for education, education will be my priority, but not at public funding should not be the only criteria. Let the private funding should be there for students to take advantage and improve their skills.
Swadeep, my name is Scott LaFata, and I'm with Citizens for a Better America. And first of all, I really want to thank you for showing up today and showing the veterans of our great state the due respect that they deserve. My question is further into education, and as I know you're a very well-educated person technically, what are your thoughts in terms of furthering the efforts of students to get more deep education and technical skills, such as mathematics, chemistry, and those sorts of things? that can attract employers from other states. I mean, one of the problems we have is when the businesses come here to look, as you know, I'm on a panel, a national panel. When businesses look at the available talent in Nevada, it's not very deep. They've got to import talent if they move here. So, can you give us a little bit of your further thoughts?
Yes. As I said, my whole family is in education. I strongly believe to move up in the society, you should have good marketable skills. Regarding your question about having, all the, what we can changes to improve education, the most important issue is parental involvement, at least in high school. And I see here in this city especially, there's not much parental involvement. It's not the money. Money is there. The same kids who are going to Harvard from CCSD has the same funding, the one who's dropping out from the high school. So it's the parental involvement first. And secondly, we need to hire good teachers, irrespective of whether they have a bachelor in education or not. Sometimes you feel betrayed that an individual with a good degree in mathematics from, say, John Hopkins or from NYU or from a well-known school, they cannot come here and teach just because they don't have degree in education. So we have to get rid of those regulations where the requirement should be, if you are a subject expert, you should be able to teach in CCSD, irrespective of your bachelor in education.
Excellent.
Hi, Swadeep. Rowena Crickleton here from Shine Family Foundation. What would your first action be once elected?
First action will be, it's a public office. I want to bring trust, integrity, and accountability to the public office. We have so many elected officials who are with you, but the moment they get elected, they forget that they are serving the public. I mean, when you are running for an office, you're not running away from the public, you are with them. And so my first objective will be to bring trust, integrity, and accountability to the public office.
Thank you, Swadeep, for coming here. This is Assemblyman John Moore. With regards to economic development, I was just last week in Silicon Valley meeting with some tech companies in an effort to bring them at least part of their operations here to Nevada, provide more high-tech jobs here. My question is that regarding tax incentives and things such as the Faraday deal and that sort of thing, with the transferable tax credits, that as long as the taxpayer money is protected, meaning such as with the Faraday deal, that money has to be put into escrow by Faraday, and then they have to meet benchmarks. So therefore, the taxpayer money is fully protected in that respect. Are you in favor of different incentives to bring other companies here to Nevada to provide jobs for us?
As long as the taxpayers are protected in Faraday's deal, it's fine with me, but I don't want to select which company should be getting tax incentive. That's crony capitalism. Basically, you're not pro-business. I want somebody to be pro-free market. Let them compete for my taxpayers' dollars. But as long as taxpayers are protected, I have no problem. But I don't want to select company A over B and give them tax incentive because company A decided to donate millions of dollars in campaign money to some of the powerful people.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Earlier you said, I'm sorry, Nathan Atkins, U.S. Army business owner. Earlier you made the statement about a Faraday and we should be more focused on IT-related jobs, right? We're kind of sandwiched between Austin, Texas and Silicon Valley, right? So can you give us an understanding of how you think Las Vegas is going to compete against those two highly established markets and develop jobs in that area?
See, IT industry does not need any special incentive. They need a good and cheaper office space. That's all it matters. A lot of IT people, they don't work from the office where they are supposed to be. They're working from all over the world. I mean, Las Vegas has good infrastructure to provide IT-based jobs and high-end IT-based. What the incentive will be to attract them? That's our markets. First thing, low cost of living, easy access to the airport, good Class A office supplies at cheaper rate than any other cities like Silicon Valley or even Austin. So we have to show them what we have. We don't have to give them special incentives, show them what we have. And my feeling is they will be coming over here. A lot of people I know in IT, they are here, but they work out of town. They fly out on Monday morning, come back Thursday evening. So there are already companies who are operating from here, but nothing big like Google or Facebook or Yahoo.
Rob Lauer, U.S. Army. What's your position on welfare benefits for illegal immigrants here in Nevada paid for by state taxpayers?
Welfare benefits for illegal immigrants?
Illegal immigrants here in Nevada.
First thing, they should not be here to begin with, and if they are here, the state does not have an obligation to pay any welfare benefits to anyone. So they should not be getting paid any benefits if they are illegals.
Robert Faust, thank you for being here today, Mr. Nigam. I would like to ask you how you feel about school vouchers, and what do you, if you could briefly speak as to Common Core, what your opinion is on that.
Well, regarding school voucher system, I'm a big supporter. As I said, I've donated a lot of money, and I've financed a scholarship through NPRI. I'm a big supporter of school choice program, not only in form of a school voucher. There are other ways also, special tax incentives to the parents, or also giving them a special education savings account also. So I'm for school choice program, and the Friedman Foundation has done a great job, and now almost 32 states have some form of school choice program. And Common Core, I strongly believe that everything should be local. Let the state decide how they want to teach their citizens.
Tim Patara, U.S. Army political activist. My question is for you. How are you going to attract millennial Republicans like me who aren't really interested in the whole party thing? How would you appeal to someone like my age?
First thing, the problem with Republican Party is there's no leadership at any level, state, county, city, or at the national level. We need to involve good elected Republicans to come out and talk to the younger generation. No one cares for the Republican activists, but if somebody elected like Harry Reid is very effective because he's elected, he's a senator, he has good reputation, and he has brought all the parties together, all the different groups within the demo. So we need someone like Senator Reid in Republican Party who can come and bring all the groups together under one roof. And that could be our governor, or could be our congressman, or could be but whether Swadeep can bring them? No, probably not. There's more effectiveness when there's elected official with some status, bring all these people together, under one roof.
Thank you.
Swadeep, hi, Ron Q Corporation. My question is, let's fast forward. Let's say after the election you get elected and you're an assemblyman now. What committee would you propose, and what are the challenges that you think that proposal can happen?
If elected, I'm not going to propose any new committees. There are enough committees to take care of the business, So I'm not going to propose any new committees.
I'm sorry, Ron. This has got to be, first of all, this has got to be the easiest thing to moderate. But I just want to clarify. I thought your question was, did you mean what committee do you want to serve on?
Yeah, that's my question.
Serve on. I would prefer to be on business or taxation committees. That's where my background is, or education committee. Yes, I'm not expert in everything. I'm not an engineer, so I don't want to serve on some civil engineering committee. Yeah, I would prefer only business, taxation, or education.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, we've sort of run the rack here quickly. I guess it makes sense. We haven't done this all day, but is there anybody in the audience, if that's okay with the panel? Does anyone in the audience wish to ask a question? And this is brutal, being 12 or 15 on one. So, all right, Karen, you're not really the audience, but okay.
Hey, I've been quiet all day. And unfortunately for Swadeep, he's the only one here now, so I get my question. Actually, Swadeep, if you could just give us your take on the whole federal land issue as it relates to the Bundy family and other families here in Nevada whose lands have been taken by the federal government. Could you just give us your take on federal land ownership versus state ownership versus public ownership?
it should not be under federal ownership. That's how I strongly believe, and most of the states don't have that issue compared to what we have. Almost 88, 87% is owned by federal government. I think the states should be responsible for those lands, and the local public should own the land, not the Washington.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we have a gentleman back over there. Please announce your name and.
Yeah, sorry, Fred Conquest. One of the big problems in Nevada is voter fraud because we use easily manipulated voter machines. What would your view be on making it illegal to use computerized voter machines and go back to which can be easily manipulated, to go back to the paper ballots where they can be hand counted by people on both sides, so that we don't have votes switched and people's votes are actually for who they voted for?
I feel those machines are doing a good job. I haven't seen any voter fraud because of the machines. But if illegals are voting or someone is voting twice, that's more an administrative issue, not a software or machine issues. You know, I think I've heard a lot. Some of the states have gone through these machines, and they are using still old technology. But I think Clark County Election Office is doing a great job when it comes to these machines. I haven't heard anything. But if they are using some faulty machines, it should be fixed.
Okay, any other audience type questions?
Oh, that's
Right here. Yep. Someone help her with the microphone. Maybe we can guess what the question is.
Thank you. I am Juanita Clark, a member of a neighborhood group called Charleston Neighborhood Preservation. And we're involved in a variety of issues, and one of them is, and you've already addressed this, has been the Common Core. And so in asking that question, I would ask you, have you investigated this at all? Are you aware that the Constitution has been reworded in some of the books, and that the term dumbed down is being used by people who teach and parents who watch what their children are learning, and that the school district sends home with the students the dates that testing is to occur. The Common Core testing, which has now been changed by the state of Nevada to be, the acronym is SINDAC. Does anybody here know what it is? Anyway, and this article, this information sent home from the school says that this testing is mandatory, and that is false. That there is opt-out, and if you want to opt out your child, you can do that so that they don't sit there for those days and days of testing. And so I was wondering if you knew any of that about that, and if you had checked into it, and if you know someone that you could check with, because I know someone that you could check with. Thank you.
Well, I'm not familiar with that, but strongly believe that dumbing down of curriculum should never be allowed. Otherwise, we won't have a decent workforce even here. You know, forget about having a high-tech company. They won't get job in a menial job even in casinos. So I'm not familiar with that, but I will look into it for sure. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the audience? We have time for one more question. The audience, as Karen Steelman. Go ahead.
Like I said, I've been quiet all day, and now I have the floor. Thank you for being here, Swadeep. My name is Karen Steelman. I'm the Auxiliary Director with Veterans of Politics, and unfortunately you don't have anybody here to bounce this off of, but one of the things that I hear a lot in interviewing candidates is opposing views. And we have one constitution and one set of laws. So I would like to know your view on the U.S. Constitution, the state constitution, and would you vote in accordance with the Constitution or what your constituents want, if it should happen to be opposed?
It should be based on the Constitution, whether it's state or because that's the rule of law. Yeah, constituents want free TV for everyone. I can provide that, and I won't vote for such things. It will be strictly Constitution.
Thank you.
Okay, you've done really well.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
much better than your fellow candidates for the position.
I would like to know their position on other issues like education or
Well, it's sort of like
taxes or anything.
It's sort of like a dream come true. I always want to put bags over their chairs and say, what do you think? Anyway, let me give you some time for a closing statement for 2 minutes, and then we will move on to our very special event today, the California Senate Debate Forum. Excuse me. But go ahead, please. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm honored to be here, and thank you for inviting me over. And I'm running only for one reason. Actually, not one reason, for a couple of reasons. First is everyone knows what happened in the last legislative session. There was a betrayal, and there should be consequences. And secondly, I feel my background in business, economics, and finance will come in handy when I go to Carson City, rather than someone who has no background in running even a simple business, subway sandwich shop even. It takes a lot of effort to run a small business. My background will definitely help me in protecting taxpayers' interests. And thirdly, my opponent in primaries, she's nowhere to be seen. She's totally out of touch. No one has ever seen her. I've been in this business for over 20 plus years actively, and I've never seen in any of the events, or she's totally out of touch with the voters, with the public in her own district as well as whole state of Nevada. And thirdly, her rating, Nevada Policy Research Institute, the local conservative think tank, have voted her as one of the lowest rated senator or assemblywomen, as well as at the national level, American Conservative Union has voted her as one of the worst rated senator or assemblywoman in the state of Nevada. And most important, I will bring back trust, integrity, and accountability, as I said before. Thank you very much again, and thanks for having me. Thank you.
Great.